Satellite thermal imaging captured it first, a temperature spike so intense it nearly broke the sensors. Mount Etna was not just erupting, it was launching molten projectiles with the trajectory of intercontinental ballistic missiles, sending lava fountains climbing 1,500 meters toward the edge of space. NASA's orbital monitoring stations tracked the thermal plume, reaching altitudes where commercial aircraft cruise. One volcanologist called it the first recorded attempt by a terrestrial volcano to achieve orbital injection. But this vertical fury exposed something far more disturbing, hidden in Sicily's geological underground. Deep crustal imaging has revealed a network of vertical fractures, geological rifle barrels carved through solid rock by millions of years of tectonic stress. These pathways do not just guide magma to the surface, they weaponize it. Dr. Alessandro Bonforte's team at Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology discovered that Etna's recent space shots correlate directly with accelerated sliding of the volcano's underwater foundation. Each record-breaking vertical eruption destabilizes the submarine mountain, supporting 500,000 years of accumulated volcanic rock. The implications are staggering. While tourists photograph pretty red flows, they are standing on a geological launch platform that is simultaneously priming itself for both atmospheric penetration and catastrophic collapse. What happens when a volcano develops the capacity to shoot lava into near-Earth orbit, while its foundation slides toward the deepest trenches of the Mediterranean? And why are scientists now tracking Etna's eruptions with the same technology used to monitor space launches? Mount Etna, towering over the island of Sicily, has a long and tumultuous history. This massive stratovolcano began forming during the Quaternary period, with the first eruptions occurring beneath ancient seas. The stratovolcano grew as volcanic material accumulated over time. As the African and Eurasian tectonic plates collided, they gave birth to a volcanic giant that would shape the region for hundreds of thousands of years. Tectonic forces drove this dramatic change. The collision of these tectonic plates created a complex geological environment, with the African plate slowly subducting beneath the Eurasian plate. This process, known as subduction, is responsible for the formation of many of the world's most active volcanoes, including Mount Etna. As the African plate descends into the Earth's mantle, it releases water and other volatile compounds. These compounds lower the melting point of the surrounding rock, causing it to melt and form magma. This magma, being lighter than the surrounding rock, rises through the Earth's crust, eventually finding its way to the surface and erupting as lava. Over time, repeated eruptions have built up the massive edifice of Mount Etna. The volcano's structure is composed of layers upon layers of hardened lava, volcanic ash, and other pyroclastic materials. This layered structure, known as a stratovolcano, is characteristic of many of the world's most iconic volcanoes, such as Mount Fuji in Japan and Mount Rainier in the United States. Dr. Marco Ferretto Carlino, a volcanologist at the INGV Etna Observatory, explains that Etna's evolution is a story of relentless growth and catastrophic collapse. Around 300,000 years ago, Ocean Primbao, there was a significant shift in volcanic activity toward the mountain's current center. This marked the beginning of the modern Etna we know today. But Etna's growth has been punctuated by moments of devastating destruction. Approximately 8,000 years ago, a massive collapse of the volcano's eastern flank triggered a tsunami that rippled across the Mediterranean Sea. This event serves as a chilling reminder of the volcano's potential for widespread devastation. The collapse of Etna's eastern flank was a catastrophic event that dramatically reshaped the volcano's structure. The collapse, known as a sector collapse, involved the sudden failure and downslope movement of a large portion of the volcano's edifice. This event likely occurred due to a combination of factors, including the weight of the volcano's growing structure, the presence of weak, altered rock layers, and the intrusion of magma into the volcano's flank. Sector. The sector collapse generated a massive debris avalanche, which quickly transformed into a debris flow as it mixed with water. This debris flow, known as a lahar, raced down the slopes of Etna and into the Mediterranean Sea, triggering a tsunami that impacted coastal areas hundreds of kilometers away. Lahar evidence of this ancient tsunami can be found in sedimentary deposits along the coasts of Sicily and mainland Italy. These deposits, known as tsunami deposits, contain a chaotic mixture of rock fragments, shell debris, and other marine materials that were carried on shore by the tsunami waves. The discovery of these tsunami deposits has led scientists to reevaluate the potential hazards posed by Mount Etna. While the volcano is best known for its frequent, relatively small eruptions, the evidence of past sector collapses and tsunamis suggests that Etna is capable of much larger, more destructive events. In more recent history, Etna has been a constant source of both AWE and terror for the inhabitants of Sicily. Since 1600 CE, the mountain has experienced over 60 flank eruptions, with half of those occurring since 1900. These eruptions have ranged from gentle lava flows to explosive events that have sent ash and debris cascading down the mountain's slopes. One of the most significant eruptions in recent history occurred in 1669. This eruption began with the opening of a large fissure on Etna's southern flank, which quickly gave way to a massive lava flow. The lava flow, which was up to 17 kilometers long and 1 kilometer wide, destroyed several villages and threatened the city of Catania. The 1669 eruption also had a significant impact on the local economy. The destruction of farmland and villages left many people homeless and without a means of livelihood. In response, the local government implemented a series of relief measures, including the distribution of food and the construction of new housing. Despite the destruction caused by the 1669 eruption, the people of Sicily have continued to live in the shadow of Mount Etna. The volcano's frequent eruptions have become a part of daily life for those who call the mountain home. However, the past few years have seen a dramatic shift in Etna's behaviour. The volcano's eruptions have taken on a new level of intensity, with lava fountains reaching unprecedented heights and vertical velocities that have stunned even the most experienced volcanologists. On August 14th, 2024, Etna unleashed a series of lava fountains that reached a staggering 1,500 meters in height. To put this into perspective, these molten jets were reaching altitudes typically reserved for commercial jet aircraft. The ash columns generated by these eruptions climbed an astonishing 9.5 kilometers into the atmosphere, causing multiple shutdowns of the nearby Catania airport. The August 2024 eruptions were characterized by a type of volcanic activity known as paroxysmal eruptions. These eruptions are marked by the sudden and violent ejection of lava, gas, and ash from the volcano's summit craters. During a paroxysmal eruption, the magma within the volcano's conduit is subjected to intense pressure. As this pressure builds, the magma begins to foam and expand, forming a highly pressurized mixture of molten rock and gas. Eventually, the pressure becomes too great, and the magma is violently ejected from the volcano's summit craters. This ejection can take the form of lava fountains, which can reach heights of several kilometers, or ash columns, which can climb even higher into the atmosphere. The August 2024 paroxysmal eruptions were particularly intense, with lava fountains reaching heights of 1,500 meters. These eruptions also produced significant amounts of volcanic ash, which can pose a serious hazard to aviation. Volcanic ash is composed of tiny fragments of pulverized rock and glass that are ejected into the atmosphere during an eruption. These fragments can be incredibly abrasive and can cause significant damage to aircraft engines and other components. The presence of volcanic ash in the atmosphere can also reduce visibility and cause respiratory problems for people on the ground. As a result, Catania Airport, which is located just a few kilometers from Etna's summit, was forced to close multiple times during the August 2024 eruptions. Dr. Marelia Urlaub, a geophysicist at the Geomar Helmholtz Center, explains the significance of these events. The vertical velocity measurements from Etna's recent eruptions match those of intercontinental ballistic missile trajectories. It is as if we are witnessing the Earth attempt to launch a part of itself into orbit. These space shot eruptions have become increasingly frequent, with another event on November the 10th, 2024, sending lava fountains soaring through dense meteorological clouds. The sheer force and heat of the eruption were enough to pierce the cloud cover, creating an otherworldly spectacle visible from hundreds of kilometers away. But while Etna's vertical fury has captured the world's attention, an even more concerning development has been unfolding beneath the surface. A recent study led by Dr. Alessandro Bonforte has revealed a complex network of strike-slip faults underlying the volcano. These faults, created by the immense tectonic forces of the African and Eurasian plates, act as conduits for magma, channeling it towards the surface with incredible force. Strike-slip faults are a type of fault in which the movement is primarily horizontal. These faults are commonly found in areas where tectonic plates are sliding past each other, such as along the San Andreas Fault in California. In the case of Mount Etna, the strike-slip faults are the result of the complex interaction between the African and Eurasian plates. As these plates move past each other, they create zones of intense shearing and fracturing within the Earth's crust. These fractures can extend deep into the crust and provide pathways for magma to rise to the surface. As the magma forces its way through these narrow channels, it can build up incredible pressure, leading to violent eruptions when it finally reaches the surface. The strike-slip faults beneath Etna have likely played a significant role in the volcano's recent paroxysmal eruptions. By channeling magma to the surface at high velocities, these faults have contributed to the incredible heights and intensities of the recent lava fountains. Dr. Bonforte explains that these faults are like geological rifle barrels. They focus the magma's energy, allowing it to shoot upwards at velocities we have never seen before. But that is not the only concern. Each of these space-bound eruptions is also destabilizing the volcano's underwater foundation. Seafloor geodetic sensors have detected accelerated movement along the submerged base of Etna. The data suggests that billions of tons of volcanic rock are sliding towards the deepest parts of the Mediterranean Sea. The vertical eruptions, while visually stunning, are creating a dangerous feedback loop. Each space shot is pushing the volcano closer to a catastrophic submarine collapse. The implications of a submarine collapse at Etna are difficult to overstate. Such an event would likely trigger a massive tsunami that could impact coastal communities across the Mediterranean. Tsunami waves generated by a submarine collapse can be incredibly destructive. As the collapsed material moves downslope, it displaces a large volume of water, creating a series of waves that can travel at speeds of up to 800 kilometers per hour. As these waves approach the shore, they can grow to heights of several meters, easily overwhelming coastal defenses and inundating low-lying areas. The force of the waves can destroy buildings, infrastructure, and vegetation, and can cause widespread loss of life. In the case of a submarine collapse at Etna, the resulting tsunami could potentially impact coastal communities across the Mediterranean. The eastern coast of Sicily, which is home to several large cities and numerous smaller towns, would be particularly vulnerable. But the impacts of a submarine collapse at Etna could extend far beyond the immediate region. The Mediterranean Sea is a crucial transportation hub, with numerous shipping lanes connecting Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. A tsunami in the Mediterranean could potentially disrupt these shipping lanes, causing significant economic damage and impacting global trade. In addition, the destruction of port facilities and other coastal infrastructure could have long-lasting impacts on the economies of affected countries. The potential consequences of such an event are difficult to overstate. Dr. Ferretto Carlino paints a grim picture. If Etna's underwater flank were to give way suddenly, we could see tsunami waves up to 50 meters high slamming into the eastern coast of Sicily within minutes. Within an hour, coastal communities across the Mediterranean, from Greece to Tunisia, could be facing catastrophic flooding. But the risks extend far beyond the immediate coastline. The Mediterranean Sea is a crucial shipping route, with 500 million tons of cargo passing through annually. A sudden collapse of Etna's flank could sever these vital trade links, causing an economic catastrophe that would ripple across the globe. Despite the growing evidence of Etna's instability, the volcano remains a popular tourist destination. Visitors from around the world flock to witness the mountain's majestic eruptions, unaware that they are standing on a ticking time bomb. The allure of Etna's eruptions is understandable. The sight of molten lava fountaining into the sky and flowing down the mountain's slopes is an awe-inspiring spectacle that draws people from all walks of life. However, the risks posed by Etna's increasingly violent eruptions and potential submarine collapse are often overlooked by visitors. Many tourists are unaware of the complex geological forces at work beneath their feet, and the potential for catastrophic events that could occur with little warning. This lack of awareness is compounded by the fact that Etna's eruptions are often viewed as a source of entertainment rather than a potential hazard. Tourists flock to the mountain slopes to take selfies with the erupting volcano in the background, often venturing far too close to active lava flows and other hazards. Italian authorities have put in place a wide range of monitoring systems to track Mount Etna's activity, but there remains a critical blind spot. The instruments can detect changes on the mountain's surface, yet they cannot provide real-time warning for the atmospheric penetration events that have become Etna's terrifying trademark. The challenges of monitoring Etna are significant. Frequent eruptions and complex geology make it difficult to predict when and where the next eruption will occur. Beneath the volcano, strike-slip faults lie largely hidden from view. That makes it hard to monitor their behaviour and assess how they might influence future eruptions. Current monitoring includes seismic networks, GPS stations, and satellite-based radar systems that detect changes in the volcano's shape and surface deformation. These systems are primarily focused on surface activity, and they are less effective at spotting changes deep within the volcano's structure, such as magma moving through the strike-slip faults. As a result, the monitoring network may not provide adequate warning of impending paroxysmal eruptions or other hazardous events. That lack of notice is especially worrying because some of these events can happen with little or no warning. The infrastructure around Etna is also vulnerable. Critical data cables that connect Europe and North Africa run along the unstable seafloor at the volcano's base. The region's power grids depend heavily on geothermal energy drawn from the volcano, and the tourism industry brings millions of visitors to Sicily each year. One of the most pressing threats is to the undersea cables that carry internet traffic and other vital communications. A submarine collapse or similar event could sever those cables, disrupting communications and causing substantial economic damage. Repairing or replacing damaged cables would also carry a high cost. The region's power grids are at risk as well. Geothermal plants on Etna's slopes generate electricity for local communities. A major collapse or hazardous event could damage or destroy those plants, disrupting power supplies and producing cascading effects for hospitals, transportation, and emergency services. Tourism is a major local industry, and it is exposed to great risk. Visitors who come to Sicily to witness Etna's eruptions may be unaware of the hazards. A major eruption or collapse could strand tourists on the mountain slopes and destroy hotels and transport infrastructure, with long-lasting consequences for the local economy. As Dr. Erlaub puts it, we are in a race against time. The warning signs are there, and we need to act fast. We need better monitoring systems, more robust infrastructure, and a clear plan for evacuation if the worst should happen. The Earth Attacks community is at the forefront of this effort, working to improve observations and preparedness around Etna. By sharing your footage, observations, and experiences, you are helping scientists track Etna's behaviour in real time. Your contributions could be the key to unlocking the secrets of this geological time bomb before it is too late. Stay tuned, because the story of Etna is far from over, and the fate of the Mediterranean hangs in the balance. Etna's space-bound eruptions are a stark reminder of the raw power lurking beneath our feet. By subscribing to Earth Attacks, you will be part of a community dedicated to understanding and preparing for the Earth's most awe-inspiring and terrifying events. Together, we can unravel the mysteries of our dynamic planet and build a safer future for all.